All right, Janet, thanks for joining us again this month. The question everybody keeps asking is, are we headed for a bubble? So we want your take on that. What do you think?
No. And I don't know why the whole world wants us to think that it's gloom and doom, because it's not. In the real estate market, it's all about supply and demand. And we continue to have a shortage of inventory. When you look at the previous bubble, they're saying that there were about 4 million units available. Today, we only have 1.2 million units available. So it's really, really difficult if you have a shortage of homes to predict that the sky is falling and that all of a sudden there's going to be a buyer's market where you can just go in and get a rock bottom price on a home.
Yeah, something else that supports that idea, at least from charts that I've seen, the idea that we're not headed for a bubble is the number of first-time home buyers that are coming into the market. Nationally, a first-time home buyer's age is 31. And if you go back 31 years ago and you look at the birth rate in the United States, it was actually increasing, and it's still increasing for another 3 to 4 years. So there will still be a significant number of people in that age group that say, I'm ready now to buy a home, and they're going to be pulling from that shortage of inventory you're talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the other thing is that when I started real estate just before the big bubble, the crash, all that good stuff,
Yeah.
I was helping people get homes for $100. Like, they had no skin in the game whatsoever. And nowadays it's very interesting because statistically speaking, you have 33% of people who own their homes outright. So those people most definitely are not going to lose their homes because they own them. They owe nothing. And then of the rest of the homeowners, half of them have over 50% equity. So it's a very, very different scenario of people walking away from homes or losing homes or being upside down on value. That's what caused the crash, because there's so much equity in the housing market right now. So it seems very unrealistic that someone's going to just walk away if there's all that money now in their home.
Yeah.
So what do you think the biggest challenge is right now with the market?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with just the media, and the story that they're being told isn't always the truth. For example, if you look back a few weeks ago, the Fed came out and bumped the Fed funds rate 0.75%. And when that happened, all we heard on the news was rates are going up, interest rates are going up, the sky is falling, right? That's what we heard.
Yes.
But it was very interesting because what really happened is investors or the market perceived that 3/4 jump as a very aggressive move on behalf of the Fed to fight inflation. And inflation is the nemesis of bonds. So when they saw such an aggressive move to fight inflation, the bond market actually said, oh, this is good. And things relaxed and interest rates came down that very day. And since that time, in the last 2 weeks, rates have dropped 0.5% since the Fed dropped the Fed funds rate. Yeah. So, that's not a story that the media is telling people. They hear the sky is falling, but the truth is what you hear on the news is not always reality of what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing I wish that we could see the media report on would be rents. So last year for rents, we saw a rent increase across the nation by about 16.5%. Currently this year, we're projected to go up about 14.4%. And I'm personally seeing that. So I just listed a home for rent in Orem, which I previously rented out for about $1,800. And I listed it this past, yesterday for $2,200, thinking, okay, let's bump it. It's a 22% increase in rent. And I've had 56 people reach out to me in the last 24 hours saying, hey, when can I schedule my booking? When can we come and see this? We want it. And so for me, as I look at that, I'm saying, man, if you're an investor or if you're a first-time home buyer, probably not a bad time to buy because the demand's there and there just isn't the supply.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think overall, the moral of the story is, if you've been thinking that there's the sky is falling and there's going to be some big crash and you're going to get this amazing deal on a home, you might want to rethink your thinking. And I love the statistic that a homeowner is actually has a net worth of 87% higher than a renter. So if your rents are sky high regardless, maybe it's time to look at that opportunity to jump in the market. And I know in a previous conversation, you said that like, there's this little opening, and there's this little breather, like a breath right now in the market. It might be a great time to call and have a conversation with us, or at a minimum, get some more education. And it's difficult when you rely on the media to give you accurate information. So I would just advise those that know us or that don't and would like to, that they pay attention and reach out to us and give us a chance to educate them and give them some better information. And in fact, I'm going to put a link in the show notes that show the bold predictions for the end of this year. And the predictions are that the prices are actually going to increase another 1 to 3% in the next year. They have stabilized, which is great, but let's take a good advantage of the opportunity right now to jump in before you see another increase, even though it might be small. You know, that can really affect you. So
Janet, we appreciate your expertise and your insights. As always, thank you so much.
thank you, Scott. Thank you, Zach.